Good morning, everyone. Now, I have a question for you. Are you listening carefully? When does a football pitch become a triangle? Answer: when someone takes a corner. Did you laugh? Was that funny? Oh, have you noticed that I'm wearing my sunglasses? Well, why am I wearing sunglasses on a relatively gloomy morning? Well, it's because you're all so bright. I wish I were with you now to hear you laughing. Or perhaps you're groaning. In fact, perhaps I better stick to the day job. But the point remains that laughter is important. It's quite possible to look at the world today, to look at its poverty, its inequality, its injustice, the coronavirus pandemic, the environment, the use of plastic and so on. And what do? Do we cry or do we laugh? And this is a matter which has occupied philosophers for thousands of years. What is our most effective way of engaging with the trials and tribulations of life, the whips and scorns of time, and how best to manage our responses? Now, the Greek philosophers, Democritus and Heraclitus, well, they both had a deep knowledge of the world, but they responded differently. Heraclitus couldn't stop weeping. It was all too much for him. But Democritus, he couldn't stop laughing. But how or why would one ever laugh when things are not looking good? Democritus had a real good humour laugh. It wasn't delusional. It wasn't a random quirk of temperament. He laughed in a highly admirable way because of how he thought about the world. He was a profound realist. He knew everything there was to know about human greed, lust, but he also knew of our random exposure to accident and to misfortune. So last week, for example, I was driving home and I was just on the other side of Bushy Park when suddenly I heard a clanging noise behind me, and I stopped the car, and the end of my exhaust pipe had fallen off and was scraping against the surface of the road. Now, if I were Democritus, I would have laughed, and probably I would have felt much better, and even much better about the damage and the repair cost. Democritus knew about suffering and risk, and he knew that we lived in a world where things broke, and therefore he stopped being surprised or even worried about it. He just accepted it was there. And of course, with the Democritus mindset, anything which is delightful or charming is a lovely bonus to your day, something truly to be cherished. And so whilst keeping the darkness, the grimness of life firmly in our minds, against that backdrop, we notice ever more the joyful moments, the things that stand out against it. And indeed, there is a movement growing in popularity called laughter yoga. And laughter yoga is forcing oneself to laugh. The silly, forced laughter eventually becomes real laughter that gets the blood flowing and endorphins released into the body. And of course, babies and children understand this. Last week at Hampton Court House, we had the joy of nursery reception and year one children back at the school. And the teachers, that's to say those at school and not teaching remotely at home, have had the joy of hearing children laugh. It is the world's best medicine. And you know what? Every teacher who works with these young children actually feels better about life. And if you don't believe me, you can go right now into the bathroom and pull a funny face, laugh in the mirror, laugh. And afterwards, ask yourself if you feel better, and if the world is not now about to take on a brighter, sunnier quality. And indeed, laughing can be seen as a legitimate and healthy response to the absurdity and the pain of the world. Albert Camus, a writer that some of you will know for his short novel L'Étranger, and his novel La Peste, or The Plague. It's a novel, by the way, curiously relevant to current times. is known for his existential view that rebelling against the absurdity of the world is the best way to face it. It can be summed up in his maxim, Il n'y a pas de honte à être heureux. There is no shame in being happy. It's often said that children laugh on average 300 times a day, but adults only 20 to 30 times, and frankly, in my experience, some adults never at all. And once again, this is where we adults can learn from you children. For laughter breaks down walls and it connects people. It's why all the best teachers in the world are also funny. And actually, I'd argue that the best leaders in the world also have a refined sense of humour. That joyous laughter between a baby and a mother. It's something truly beautiful, and we've all seen it, but it's also powerful. And in life, laughter is the first step towards having an open mind, empathy, and forgiveness. And let's remember today to value and cherish our laughter. Now go to that mirror in the bathroom, pull a face, and make yourself laugh. Have a good day, everyone.